Today in our video we want to create a pattern using Photoshop. We'll start with a new document. So I can click on the down bar here and go to new document. Then I will take an A4 document. Okay, my A4 document is having a white background. I don't want that white background, so I will click and pick a transparent background. Then I can click on create and I have my document. So let me name it go to file and say save as, and I will give it a name. I want to save it on my computer. Save on your computer. I'm using Photoshop 2022 and now call it pattern. So I'm saving it on a desktop. Let's say pattern here. Let me save it just like that on the desktop. So we want to create a pattern. Let me show you where we are going to. I want to reach the desktop. This is my desktop, and then this is what we want to have, a pattern. So to reach this destination, we have steps. I want to show you the first step and the second step and so on. So I have created something like that in the past. So the pattern you have seen was created from a basic shape, and this is the basic shape. So we will try to have this shape, but you notice here that the shape is having 4 other components. This is the first component, second component, okay, first component, second component, the third component, and the fourth component. The second component, third component, and this is the fourth component. Now let's narrow things down to this component. This component also having 2 shapes. So let me explain it. I will just say that the component is having a if you divide this component, we also have, I want to show you a type. So if we divide it, we have a shape which is half, okay, and then okay, so when we divide this, we have this one which is a half, and then even this one is having now 2 shapes. This is the first one and the second one. So we want to have the basic shape we use to create a pattern. That basic shape is having this shape as having 4 components, and this is one of the components. So this component we have divided it by 2 to have this by even the division, you can see divide by 2. So we realize that to create a basic shape, we'll start by creating a circle. We'll create a circle and then we'll divide this circle by 4, because this is the quarter or circle. Divide by 4. Let me click on this and okay, those are the two shapes. Yes. But as I'm saying now, you want to have the form. I have now this, which is one part, and then this, which is the second part. So we'll start by creating a circle. We divide and take the divide by 4 and take just one part. Then to have this other shape, we'll create a square, and we'll use the shape we divided here to get the square. That's how we'll do it. So first step, we create a square, divide that we'll create a circle and divide by 4. Then we'll create a square, and use the second step, we'll create a square and divide that square, and use the first shape to get the square. Then third step, we'll combine the two. 4 steps now. The fourth step is that we will duplicate and do symmetry, vertical symmetry, to have the other shape. Yes, that's the third step. Now the fourth step is that we will now multiply this. We'll have 4 other shapes, and the 4 other shapes now we'll put them as you have here. 1, 2, 3 here, and 4. Yes. So those are the 4 steps we'll use to have these basic shapes. And then the next step, that's step number 5, is that we will now create the pattern, and then we'll fill now a background with it, with the pattern. So that's the steps we follow in our work. So let's now go back to our new document we just created. We are starting now with a square. I will use the ellipse tool to create my square. So when I'm having the ellipse tool, I can create an elliptical shape. Then I will assign the width. The width and the height should be the same when we have our square. So the width here, I'm putting, let's say, width equal 200, and the height I will also put 200. Width and height 200. Now if I can this work? So I'll click on the move tool. I'll move here and put it here. Okay, so it's 200 by 200. So I will press Ctrl plus T because I want to place my shape at the center of the document, or at the center of the rectangle. So Let me now go to window here. I'm looking for the alignment. But if I'm not able to find it, I will use another strategy. Okay, let me save it. I can say select and then on. That's another method. Now I'll go to layer. I will say align layer to selection. Let me say vertical centers. Then I will go back to a layer, align layer to selections, horizontal centers. So now I'm sure my shape is at the center of the page. So I'll press Ctrl plus G to deselect. Okay, the other thing I want you to notice that the form I've created is coming with a shape, with a path. Yes, so I've displayed the path panel, and you can see that there's a path there. I will be limited when manipulating this object because there's a path attached to it. So to remove this path, I will just I'm gonna click on the document and say raster layer, and now I'm having a layer in my document. So we are not forgetting our assignment. We are supposed to create this circle to have 4 different shapes. So I'll press Ctrl plus G, then I will use a ruler to create a but before going on with the ruler, I'll make sure that the unit is millimeters on the vertical and horizontal layers. Yes. So here I want to use, I'm picking the first ruler guide and I will snap it to the center. Let me go to view here and say snap to yes, I want to activate the snap option so that the ruler guide to snap. Let me go here and then snap. So that ruler was snap to the center. Here I want it to snap to the center also, and then we have a ruler guide snaps to the center. Now I will create a selection, and the selection will help me to divide. Okay, look, I'm using the rectangular marquee tool and to create a selection, and there are many ways we can divide this rectangle, but I'll use this first strategy to cut. I'll press Ctrl plus G. One other thing I can do is to first of all create a rectangular shape. Okay, with the selection, Now press Ctrl plus G and I have something like this. So to divide again, I'm using the same rectangular marquee. Okay, I'll snap it and then I'll say Ctrl plus G again. I want to be a bit careful and not just to be careful but also to be precise in what I'm doing. So this is the first block or the first half circle I'm having. Now from this half circle I want to have 4 others. So what I will do here is that I will duplicate. There are many ways we can duplicate, but let me right click and say duplicate layers, and I'm allowed to give the name of the layer. Let me call it circle 2, and I'll call the first one circle 1. So in the other copy I'm having, what I will do, I will just click like this, Ctrl plus G to select. Then I want to go and activate the reference point here. Then I will put the reference point up, and then I will right click here and say flip vertical, and I'm having another one up there. Then I will select the two, circle 1 and circle 2, and then I will duplicate it again, duplicate layers. I'm gonna put names here. Let me say okay. So I'm having circle 3, my spelling is French, circle 3 here, and then circle 4. This is circle 2. This is circle 'm just replacing the this is circle 1. And circle 2. So we have circle 1, circle 2, circle 3 and circle 4. So let me select circle 3 and circle 4, Ctrl plus T here, then I'll put a reference point and then right click and say flip horizontal, and now I'm having the 4 shapes I will use. Now I will hide circle 2, circle 3 and circle 4, so I'm remaining with circle 1 here. Let me press Ctrl plus G to check. I want to check here and make sure this is still a shape. Yes, I'm seeing that the height is 100.08 millimeter and the width is 100.08 millimeter, which is good. Now I need to create a selection from this squares from this shape. So if I press Control and click, then I'll have the thing. But let me say Control plus G to deselect, then Control plus G to. Okay, so what I want to use is okay, the roller guides. The roller guide will snap here. Yes. Let me add one more roller guide here. Snap to the center, and then the roller guide will snap also to the center. So when I have my roller guides, I can now click to create okay, I'm creating a selection which is a square selection. Then I'll go now and create a new layer, and I'll fill the layer with a foreground color. Let me press R plus delete. I'm having now a square as my new layer. So I will say Control plus D to select. Now I can go to my circle one. This new layer I'll just create. I'll call it a square, just like that, square. So let me go back to circle one. I'll press Control and then click to activate the circle one. Activate the selection from the circle one, and then this square I want to duplicate to have a new selection, no, a new square, yes. And then I will press the delete key once. What is happening when I'm pressing the delete key once? This is the shape I will obtain. So I will press Control plus G to deselect now, and this is the shape I'm having. So as we said, the first step was to create a circle and divide to have 4 components. That step we have done it. Then the second step was to create a square, and then use the circle or that component for the circle to get out the shape. Now I want to join the two shapes. When we join the two shapes, we have something like this. Let me grab something, yes, like this. I want to join the two shapes and have something like this. The circle we have divided, that component we obtained from dividing the circle by 4, and the other component we just obtained by cutting. So let's go back, and I'm putting back my circle one. Now this other shape I want to bring it to the other side, so say Control plus G to activate. Then I'm putting the reference point, then right click, I will say horizontal, flip horizontal, because I want to place it now here like this. Okay, so let me validate it. Now click and say Control plus T. I will right click now. What if I rotate clockwise, and then right click, and I'll say flip horizontal again. Yeah, I'm having now the second shape. So the next step we said was to have to create a symmetry. So for that next step, to make sure that I have enough space up. Yes. Then to have the symmetry, I will click to create a new layer. Then I will go to image and then apply image. So my shape is there. I will press Ctrl+G and put my reference point over here. Then I'll flip it vertically, but before flipping it, I need to duplicate the layer, and then I will do Ctrl+G and put the reference point up. Then right click and say vertical, flip vertical. Okay, so I'm having now the individual element we're expecting. So let me click again to create a new layer and go to my image, apply image, and then I'll say okay, and then on my new layer, so let me hide the other layers. On my new layer now, I want to have 4 different elements. So what I will do is I will go to this crop tool and I'll enlarge this on this side. Now I will duplicate the layer again, and I will press Ctrl+G to select. Then I will put the reference point here, and then right click and say flip horizontal. So I'm having now my other shape. At this stage I need 4 shapes, so let me go up. Let me go up a bit like this and go down to have the different elements. Then what I want to do now is to make sure that everything is well. So one thing I'm noticing here is that it looks like the color is not okay. Looks like the color is not totally filling the shape, so we need to fix it. Okay, one thing we can do to fix it is we can use a selection tool. Let me use, for example, this polygonal lasso tool. Then I can click here and go here. Then I will press R+delete and it will fill the shape. Ctrl+G to deselect. Let me now move closer with this navigator. Closer again. Closer again. Okay. Then okay, I want to do the same thing. So we can still do the same thing in the other shape. That's one thing, but we can also decide to just duplicate. That's another possibility. So let me duplicate the layer and then press Ctrl plus. I'm going to the move tool, Ctrl plus T here. Then I will place the reference point this side, right click and say flip horizontal to have my other element here. So we're seeing that we can now click and select the two objects, then duplicate, then I will press Ctrl plus T, and then I will right click and say rotate horizontally. Okay, we have our rotation, and now I want to work on those two layers, this one and the other one. So let me select the first one, Ctrl plus G, then I will right click like this and say flip horizontal. Okay, I'll select the other one, Ctrl plus G, right click and then say flip horizontal again. Now having now the basic shape I need to create my pattern. Okay. Sometimes when you're having a shape like this, I can still to create a new layer. Now go to image and then apply image. I will now hide the other layers. I'll remember one layer here. This layer is a bit uniform, and then what I will do is that I will use it to create my shape. But now if I press Ctrl and click here, I'm having a shape on this side. So I want to fill this with a color and say Ctrl plus G. So Ctrl plus G the other side. Let me fill this with another color. Alt plus delete. It's not really very visible. Alt plus delete. Okay. Then Control and deselect. So this is my basic shape. I want to use this basic shape now to create pattern. What I will do here is that I will select the shape by pressing Ctrl plus G. I have my shape. Now I can move 4 roller guides, 1, 2, then 3 and 4, and then I will click here to create a creating now a rectangular selection. My rectangular selection is there, so I can go to edit. Now we'll say define pattern. The name is pattern 8. Let's say I'll say 4 shapes from circle. 4 shapes from circle. This is the name of my pattern. Once my pattern is created, let me press Ctrl plus G to deselect, and I will now create a new layer, and I want to fill the new layer with a pattern. So one thing I can do is to go to edit and say fill. Then I have a pattern here, and I can click on OK here to fill. But I will not obtain what I want with this using this method. So let me go back and undo, and this time I want to go to Windows and patterns. Windows patterns, I have my pattern here. You know, the name of my pattern was this one, 4 shapes from circle. So still here I can click and then fill with my pattern. Let me undo, use this option and say okay. Let me click to fill the pattern. Okay, now when I'm clicking here to fill the pattern, is the same thing. Let me undo here. It's the same thing like going here and say pattern. So I'm clicking on this create new field or adjustment layer. Then I'll choose pattern. And from this place I can select the pattern here. We're having the same result. Now one interesting thing is here is that I have the possibility to scale the pattern. Okay, 1% is having is this one. So let me put my pattern now to 10%, for example. This is what I'll have, 10%. Let me say 8%. Okay, 8%. This is what I'm having with 8%. And then say okay. Okay, to have now the other shape, I will just duplicate this layer. Then the other shape is there. I will click now on the move tool, and I will move it manually. So I want to move horizontally and vertically. Let me go this side. Okay, and then I will go down. Okay, I will now draw closer. And when I'm closer, I will now continue to move my pattern to see how I can fit it a bit perfectly. Okay, now it looks, I think, perfect. And now I will I will double click on the zoom tool to see that 100%. And if I now draw like this, I'm having now my pattern. So let me save file and save to save this pattern. Okay, we are finished with the creation of our new pattern. We can now save it. I will save file, and then I will go to export and say export as. Now I'm choosing a JPEG, and I can say export now and save. Okay, that's how we were able to create a pattern using Photoshop.